Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this live edition of Turnaround Marriage. We're excited to talk to you about the results of one of our recent polls that we did in our group, Turnaround Marriage, which you can search for, only group by that name. So we'd love to have you if you're not part of that community. And we're going to get to that in just a second. But if you're out there and you're wondering, what are some ways that we can cultivate deeper intimacy within the context of our own marriage? This is exactly the place for you today.
Yes. Hi, everybody. We are Scott and Rachel. We help committed Christian couples finally end the cycles of conflict, negativity, and disconnection and reclaim the love, passion, and playfulness that they once had. And it's our joy to do that and to walk on the journey with many couples because we were once very, very stuck in our own marriage. And we know the pain of loneliness and despair and isolation and frustration. And so if that's where you're at today, we're here to help. So,
Absolutely.
The results are in for our poll.
Yeah, and we'll get to that in 1 second. We want to talk about intimacy in general for just a sec, because the question that we had asked in our obviously unofficial, unscientific poll was, what is the best way to develop deeper intimacy with your spouse? And the answers were a range of answers, as would be expected. But obviously the goal that we would all of us desire in our heart of hearts is to have a deeper intimacy within the context of our marriage. So let's talk about what is intimacy. Rachel, what would you say is, how would you define intimacy? What do you think that means?
Well, I think when most people think of intimacy, they immediately think of sexual intercourse, right? And sex in general. But really, intimacy encompasses so much more than just on the sexual side.
Right.
Intimacy is a closeness and a connection, a safe feeling of belonging with somebody else. And of course, it incorporates the sexual side, but it also incorporates emotional intimacy and mental intimacy, sharing your thoughts and sharing your space and all those kind of things. And
Absolutely.
so it's really critical in a marriage to work on all the time building intimacy. But so often we push our marriages to the side and we don't prioritize the marriage. And so everything else kind of gets in the way, and we're left feeling lonely and frustrated and wondering why there's not a good connection there. And then maybe it's because we haven't prioritized it, but that's what I would say.
Well, and it is, intimacy is connection. It's connection and opening yourself up to each other in every way, emotionally, spiritually, and even physically. I mean, that's the way that God has designed it for us to be. We long for that, to open up how we feel, who we are, and to still be accepted.
Right.
I mean, that's really
to be fully known.
Yeah.
And still fully loved. Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's get to the answer. And what is the number one answer that we had in our unscientific poll, as to the number one thing that we can do to develop deeper intimacy?
Well, the number one answer we got in our poll was quality time. And for many of you who've read Gary Chapman's book, The 5 Love Languages, quality time is one of those love languages. And so maybe some of you, that is your love language. And so for me, it's definitely one of mine. Quality time. I love having quality time with the people that I love. And so quality time can be hard to find time for in our extremely busy, demanding schedules, right? But that is what we found, is that quality time is what most people said.
Absolutely. And it's very interesting. And we're going to talk about what that looks like, because it is oftentimes more, I think, than what people realized, in different aspects of quality time that can really make for a big impact. But I want to just speak for just a moment about how, in general, men and women approach even quality time a little bit differently. And so men, I'll speak to men first, and you can speak to the women. Men very much thrive on the kind of what I call the side-to-side scenario. They tend to thrive when you're working on a project together, or you're doing something fun together, and you're side by side, you're talking, you're doing stuff. I mean, that's how men really connect. Rarely do they like, hey guys, let's sit down around a table and let's talk. No, they go golfing, they go bowling, they go fishing. They're doing something, they're active, and they're interacting as they're doing that. That's how men really, really connect. So even as we're talking about quality time, what a man needs, women, you could be mindful of that. But also the opposite is true for women.
Yeah. In general, we found that women, they like more of the eye-to-eye quality time. So face to face, talking, sharing our thoughts, sharing our feelings, sharing our experiences. And so it's very different for men and women. And that's one of the beautiful ways God made us differently and uniquely, and how we fit together so well. But it can be frustrating, a frustrating place if a woman is wanting to sit down and talk to her husband and he's too busy, working in the garage, or he's on his phone, or he's playing a game, or he's disengaged, right? And in the same sense for a man, if he's out in the garage doing something and the woman is trying to come in and get his attention, he'd rather her just kind of join in whatever he's doing, rather than try to pull him away and have a serious discussion. And so, of course, there's a time for that. But
so which one's right?
I guess it's who you're asking.
Yeah, that's right. And there's no right answer. There's no wrong answer. Right. It is that we both need that. And we thrive differently, even in the quality time. So let's talk about how, let's break down just some ideas. This isn't an exhaustive list,
right,
but different types of quality time that we can really can mean a lot. One of them is just laughing and having fun. I mean, how meaningful was that for us when things were difficult, for us just to carve out some time to laugh? Super powerful. You put on a sitcom, you can turn on, a video on YouTube, whatever it would be, just playing games, whatever it would be, finding time to laugh, to have fun, to be intentional with that can make a lot of difference.
Yeah, the scriptures say that laughter is, I'm trying to think of that proverb. Laughter is good medicine for the soul, something like that. And it's true. A good belly laugh, they've shown in the science that a good belly laugh can lower blood pressure and can actually help you with longevity and manage your stress. And so that's such a good way to connect husband and wife.
Another one that's really key, and it's obvious, but a lot of times people have forgotten it, and that is date night. And date night is really a time that you're focused on each other. And that goes hand in hand with laughing and having fun too. But where we got stuck was like, oh, we're going to do date night, but we're going to talk about some stuff on the way. Or we're going to talk about some stuff. We're going to talk about the budget, so to speak, in the middle of the date night. Not a good combo.
Let's hash out all the ways you've sinned against me this week while on our date. We have ruined a few too many date nights.
Why did those dates not go well?
Doing that.
I don't know.
Yeah. So one of the things we teach our clients is how to separate the time to discuss the issues of the day and also the time for having fun. And it's really important to delineate that.
Yeah.
And going right along with that is a team meeting, like basically having a time to sit down and look at your budget, sit down and look at your week, your schedule, your priorities, your dreams and goals. And how few couples do that is mind blowing. It's like we get so inundated with just the day to day. It's like, how do we get through this day? How do we get through this week? Oh, I can't wait till the weekend. Oh, I can't wait till our trip. I can't wait till X or Y or Z. And it's like, but why not sit down and carve out the time and be intentional with your time and have that kind of a team meeting.
A team meeting can be a game changer, especially if you are kind of like driven personalities. That can be super powerful for you. But really every single couple, this is something it's a kind of a non-negotiable we have with our clients, because it's so powerful that is the time that you're talking about the schedule. You're talking about the budget. You're talking about things that might be uncomfortable, or rehashing out things that might've gotten in the way. Yeah. That can be really powerful if you're segmenting out that time. And actually, it may be hard to get used to that right away, but it actually can become fun. It really can be, especially as you're developing that sense of team. But then the other one that is really obviously critical, and that is affectionate and intimate times. Those are obviously really important. The affection and intimacy are glue that God designed for there to be in the context of marriage. And sometimes, spontaneity is an awesome thing, but also scheduling can be an awesome thing. I don't think it's a wrong answer here.
No, you got to have both, I think, because in this day and age, honestly, if we don't plan time for it, one of you is going to be in the mood and the other one is not. Let's just be honest, right? And so if you don't have time set aside where it might just get pushed and pushed and pushed. So yeah, that's something that's super important. And like you said, the glue that God uses, what a good and holy gift he gives us, that gift of intimacy sexually in the bedroom for a husband and wife in the context of a Christian marriage. That's really how he designed it.
And even on the couch. I mean, it just can be moments of affection, of cuddling. Well, you got to define that. We got kids in the house. I mean, just moments of just touch, affection, not even just physical intimacy of the deepest kind, but just really being with each other and connecting. And another one that's really, really helpful is worship and prayer. like setting apart time to be in God's house, setting apart time to do family devotions, praying together, not only for your meal, but in bed or wherever it would be. Like just that type of spiritual connection that we have with each other and with God. I mean, it really is, and probably most people have heard this, but there is an intimacy in the marriage relationship that is a trinity. It's husband, wife, and Jesus. Like connection with him is what draws us together.
Mm-hmm.
And certainly it is something that you can do as a family, but also do as individual, as a couple, I should say, that can really be a game changer. And that makes a lot of difference.
Yeah. And I'll just stack on that, Scott, because that's so good. I think this is one of the areas where the enemy of our soul beats up on the men, and wives get frustrated because they're like, why won't my husband lead me? And I just wish he would pray with me. And the husband, he doesn't do it. And then he feels guilty. And so then he doesn't do it even more. And then he avoids it. And then he feels worse. And then it's like a vicious cycle. And then the wife nags. And this can just be where the enemy is just like, you're such a loser. You're such a hypocrite, right? And he just lies and lies and lies to you. So identifying those lies from the enemy and just do what you can do. Just start somewhere. Just open and read one psalm or one couple of verses or one part of a gospel. You know what I mean? Just start where you can.
Simple. Yeah.
A simple prayer. You don't have to be an orator or a preacher or a, whatever for you to be the spiritual head of your home. So I just want to encourage you, husbands out there, don't beat yourself up if you haven't been leading your wife or family in this way. And wives, give your husbands the grace that you want to have and that you want to be shown in that area. And just wives, pray for your husbands that they would take up that mantle. And guys, don't listen to the lies of the enemy. You do not have to be perfect in this area. I think that just this is the one area where the enemy can really, really beat you up. And like I said, start wherever you can. A simple prayer, a simple time of just a few verses. Start where you can. And that's a huge way to build intimacy. And I'm telling you, husbands, if you do this, your wives are going to be much more open to a lot of other ways of sharing intimacy.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
Am I right?
Absolutely.
Or am I right?
It's true. And another thing that can really build intimacy is working together. Like maybe that's projects around the house. Maybe that is working on your financial plan, your financial goals. I mean, it could be working together literally in your job, building your dream. It could be lots of different things, but God put us on earth to work together. And that's why God gave Eve to Adam, was that he would have a helpmate so that they would not be alone in their work together. Mm-hmm. And certainly along with that is, the working to lead the home as a team is really powerful. So make sure that you understand that everything is flowing from the relationship that you guys have. In other words, the kids don't come first. It is the relationship between the two of you from which everything else flows. And you guys as the main team working together with whatever that looks like, that's really, really time well spent. Especially if you see it that way, especially if you see in the context of your home that like even investing time in family working together or just leading your kids, whatever that means, that it's flowing from the two of you, that is the vine, and the fruit come from the vine as God told us to be fruitful and multiply.
Mm-hmm. That's so good. So like you said, right along with that, the family time of just scheduling family days, work days, day trips, whatever it is. All those ways. Those ways of building it's basically, if you think about in your own family, you're building a culture and you are building something beautiful. You're building a legacy, really, if you think about it that like, and if we just zoom out for a minute and think, what imprint am I going to leave on this earth? Like, now's the time to get after it. But what about for you guys who want to have the time together, but it's like we can't even carve out the time. We're so busy. We're so stressed out. We're working so many hours, right? What do we do then?
Well, I think it's important that we look at the priorities in our lives. I was talking to one of our couples this week and just talking about like, we don't arrive at having the right priorities. Like it's not something that we figured it all out and now we've got the right priorities in every area. I think we always have to constantly be looking at the things that are coming up in our life and say, is this the most important thing? Are these the most important things? Mm-hmm. And, that was one of the things that I actually enjoyed about COVID was like everything got shut down. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm glad everything opened up again, but it was so cool that we had a ton of family time.
Hmm.
And I will cherish those days. It was, and our kids even long for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got disconnected from some friends, but man, it was so powerful having that family time. So I think carving out that time is the key. Just being committed to carving it out and getting godly priorities in your life in every way. It's not easy. Man, I thought summer break was going to be easy for us. It hasn't been easy. It's been summer busy. We've been on the go, and so finding every way that you can carve out that time, knowing that this here, the two of you, and then the kids from that are the most important relationships to be working on.
Yeah, absolutely. So what would we say to those couples who it's like really too hard to have quality time together? Every time you're around each other, you're walking on eggshells.
Yeah.
There's been so much tension. There's been betrayal or mistrust or just a misfiring. And you guys just feel like we are just not on the same page. Or maybe just do not have the time and they're like your priorities are out of whack. What would we say to those couples who find it just really, really hard to have the quality time, or they're scared to have the quality time?
Well, I think it's important to look at why. First of all, why is it difficult? Is it a time thing? Is that what it is? Or is it that other things have taken priorities? Oftentimes it's like the kids, it's the urgency of the now, it's the kids screaming for your attention, it's the busy things going on in life that clamor for our attention, and they get the first fruits, so to speak. And so if we can prioritize putting on the calendar events and things that prioritize this relationship first so that it doesn't get crowded out, that is really, really important. But if you're looking at the situation and you're realizing, we've become busy because it's uncomfortable. Like we've gotten busy with kids because when it's just the two of us, it's not fun, or I don't know what to say, or we've lost connection with each other. I mean, it can look like a lot of different things, but you're right. A lot of people that come to us, that is where they're at, is they're walking on eggshells in their own home. It's like, I hope I'm not going to say something that's going to push them over the edge that they're going to leave. I hope that it's not going to be so upsetting this time that I can't even keep myself together in front of the kids. I mean, we could go on and on about the scenarios.
Yeah.
So you got to first identify what it is that is the most difficult for you about carving out that quality time as a couple.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's the heartbreaking thing, is that it is for so many wives and husbands, both. They've found themselves in such a place of disconnection that they don't even know where to begin. And maybe some of you are there. Maybe some of you have tried like a little counseling. It did not go well. You ended up leaving feeling worse than when you started. You just felt beat up. You felt like the counselor was taking one side or the other, and it was you against him. And it's like, this is not how it should be. Right. Or maybe you're just emotionally drained from the last year and a half, and you've been living in such a state of fear or frustration or anxiety. And it's like when you are in those low states, it's really hard to connect, right? Let's just be honest. How can a frustrated or angry or fearful person truly connect and open up with love, joy, and gratitude to their spouse? It's almost impossible, because you're operating at a completely different level, and your heart is closed off to that. And so that's one of the things that we really help our clients with, is to be able to get out of those ruts and start to operate at a higher level, where you're showing up and you're learning to find the good in all the challenging things.
And it's true. And when you can build back a little bit of trust, when you can have the right tools in place, things can change very quickly.
Yes.
You might have been stuck for a long time, but I'm here to tell you things can change very, very quickly. That's absolutely true. You can get out of the eggshell walking and get into a place of walking in love and joy, passion, gratitude, whatever it would be, relatively quickly. But just thinking about our own story, it would be like at the end of the day, I would be so tired, and I'd come home, and it was sometimes it was like, I don't know that I really want to go home. I want to see my kids. I want to see you, but I also don't want that uncertainty. Like I don't want the conflict. I don't want the fights. And it would kind of be like, okay, I guess I'm just going to be tired mode and go to bed early, because that's a good reason of why I don't need to be around very much, and I can go to bed. Not a very good place to be, but that's just the reality of where it was back then.
Yeah. And for me, it was super frustrating, because you would come home and just completely disengage. And then I was just like, And at that time I was home with young children and challenging household and also working part-time. And I'm just like,
Right.
when you come home, I'm like, I want to like unload on you about my day, and you just want to disengage because it's like, do we want to have one more fight? And thank God we learned the power of powerful coaching and learning how to coach ourselves and learning how to shift the way we think and the way we show up and the way we feel and learning how to release negative emotions and all those kind of things.
So true.
So we're just out here to tell you guys, if you're hopeless, if you're feeling like, oh my gosh, I identify with that. I don't want to come home at the end of the day, or my husband is so disengaged, or we just can't seem to find the quality time, or we're so maxed out and so stressed out. We just need to figure out how to prioritize. We're here to tell you, like, that is the stuff that we specialize in. And so if you're looking for help, I'm telling you, we would love to talk to you and see if we can help you.
Yeah, absolutely. And that just a side note, but it's very important. And if you're a Christian, you need godly, biblical wisdom.
Yes.
This is exactly why you need it. This is exactly why. And if you're going to a counselor or a therapist, oftentimes they're going to basically teach you to go get your own, like go get your needs taken care of. And it doesn't really matter what the other person needs. That's not the way God designed it. It's not the recipe for success in marriage. Ultimately, it's not. So you have to be very, very careful about finding quote unquote help. So guys, what we do, and just to lay it out there, is we offer a free breakthrough call for anybody that's out there that feels like, could things be different for us? Could there be a pathway out of this place of frustration and disconnect that we've had? Is it possible that, Scott, you could even help us? Well, that's what we do, that breakthrough call. We talk about what's not working, where you guys hope it can go, and a pathway to get there. And if we are a good fit, we're going to make that really clear, what that would look like, us working together. And if not, that's okay. We're still going to point you in the right direction. We're going to love you, serve you, pray for you. And it would be the best 45 minutes you guys have invested in your marriage. So yeah, just go to turnaroundmarriage.com/call, pick a time that works, fill out that short questionnaire, and we will get on a call with you. Next week is filling up nicely. So there's still a few slots left, but I'd encourage you to book that call right away. And summer is the best time to do that. And again, turnaroundmarriage.com/call.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And until next time, we're wishing you hope and help for your Christian marriage. Have a great day, you guys.
Take care.